Hey everybody, I'm Lady.
And I'm Alana.
And this is Spookery. Welcome back to Spookery, the podcast that's always watching you. Or something.
Well, if that's not ominous, I don't know what is.
I don't know if you know this, but the category today is stalkers and assassinations, and we're just feeling on brand. We're feeling spicy. We're feeling like we're looking around. We're feeling like we're aware. We're aware of our surroundings. Things are happening. Somebody's out there. Maybe they want to hurt us. Maybe they don't. We don't know.
I don't know.
But yeah, we're here. Alana, we're here.
We're here, and I can feel those eyes on me, and I don't like it.
You know, this is definitely an episode, I think, that if you don't like the sensation of something out there watching you, this might not be the greatest episode for you. This is definitely one that made me uncomfortable researching it. Mm-hmm. And I think it's because it literally could happen to anyone. Like, anybody can be stalked, anyone can be assassinated, which is such a weird thing for me to say this early in the morning.
It's true.
But yeah, I feel like this type of crime, it's almost very mundane, but I guess you could say that about most crime. Like, nobody expects it to happen to you. So
it's true. It's so true.
This one, yeah, at least for me, this felt very personal. Like, this felt like it was attacking me at some point. So I was like, All right. Okay. But I'm excited to tell you about it. It's a biggie, much kind of like the beginning of our podcast with like Bella and the Witch Elm and stuff. This is a spooky origin story. This is a case that you and I talked about before Spookery wasn't even a thing.
I know you've said I've been teasing this. You said I teased it during Titanic. You said I teased it at the end of my last case. Like I'm bugging. Last night I off script, off the record, I made some pretty bad guesses, chat. It was pretty abysmal.
They were unexpected guesses. There's no such thing as a bad guess, just unexpected ones.
They were curveballs, and she caught all of them beautifully, but also I was wrong on all of them. So I'm really excited.
Yeah, I think you'll know of this case. I don't know if you know the intimate details of this case, but I definitely know you know of this case.
Okay.
And you'll understand why you've been teasing it very quickly.
All right. Okay.
So, today we are going to be talking about the Westfield Watcher, also known as the Watcher House.
I don't know if I know this.
I know you know this because about 2.5-3 years ago, you asked me to watch the Netflix show about it.
Yes! Okay. I was like, it really rings a bell, but I don't know about it. And I still don't know about it because I still haven't watched the Netflix show because what the heck have we been doing? We've been doing a podcast, I guess.
Because I actually told you I can't watch the Netflix show until we talk about this case.
Well,
and then it took us fucking 2.5 years to get here.
Well, but we're here. I know what we're doing tonight.
We're coming up and watching The Watcher. So yes, we are talking about the Westfield Watcher. If you guys are not aware, it's a real case that happened semi-recently. I want to say recently, but it was technically like 10 years ago. So it's like not as recent as it feels, but I guess that's just like what the 2000s do, baby.
Yeah.
And it's very real. This took place in New Jersey.
Was this pre or post-COVID?
This is way pre-COVID. This is 2014.
2014. Okay. I wasn't 100% sure. I'm like, I don't actually know. Like I said, I saw the show on Netflix. I didn't watch it either. I didn't do a lot of research. I figured we'd either talk about it on Spookery or we'd watch it, and then we talk about it on Spookery. So here it is. I don't know a lot.
We talked about it on Spookery because I specifically requested I wanted to talk about it on Spookery before we watched the show. Because I didn't want... Well, I have a... Chad, here's like little intimate detail. I don't like watching dramatizations of cases before I do my research on the cases because I don't want the dramatizations to affect my case. Like, I don't want to go in and being like, this isn't how it happened in the documentary, but it wasn't really a documentary. It was a dramatization.
Yeah.
They took some liberties. So, yeah, the Watcher show on Netflix is... it's not a true crime. It's inspired by the case, but there are a lot of differences, partly, and we'll talk about them a little bit later. But so if you go into the Netflix show, if you haven't watched it and this case inspires you to watch the Netflix show, just be aware it's not the same. They are very similar cases. There's a lot of references to this case, but they take a lot of liberties.
Yeah.
So just be aware going into it. I'm not saying it's a bad show. That's not what I'm saying at all. Because I haven't watched it, because I was waiting to do this. But just be aware, it's not the same. They're different entities. They're different watchers. Yeah. So, where was I going with this? I had a point and I've lost it, and it's gone.
And I derailed you, and I'm so sorry.
And that's the end of the episode. Thank you guys so much for coming.
Talk to you next time.
Until next time.
Stay spooky, everybody.
Where was I going with this? Yes. So today we're talking about the Watcher. I think I'll casually refer to this case as the Watcher, but I think it's generally referred to as the Westfield Watcher. And yeah, Alana has been secretly teasing this case because she's been mentioning a lot about letters, and specifically about blockhead letters, which she mentioned suspiciously at the end of Titanic before I had even landed on the case. And that was what was I have to do this case now. And then, of course, last week was about an unsolved murder, but it was actually a bit of a stalkers and assassination. So
it had that vibe to it. Like you said, it really segued into this case quite nicely.
It did. So yeah, today we're going to be talking about a stalker. We're not talking about assassination. Nobody is assassinated in this episode, unfortunately. If you put money on that, I'm so sorry.
Well, no one was harmed in the making of this episode.
Well, people were definitely harmed in the making of this episode.
Spoiler.
Okay, well. So yes, so I'll have my little intro section before we get into it. But yes, the year is 2014. It's June. It's midsummer. It's hot girl summer. And a man named Derek Broadus has just finished painting some of the walls in his brand new home that he's just purchased. So this home is located in Westfield, New Jersey. It's in the nicer part of New Jersey, which we'll talk about a little bit later. It's about 10 p.m. at night. He's in the house alone. All the lights are on. He's just painting the walls, and he's like, "Great, I'm finishing up. Let's just check the mailbox real quick, and then I'm gonna go back to my wife and kids."
Yeah.
So goes to the mailbox, starts sifting through, making sure that there's no weird bills, no shopping magazines. He's flipping through it, and inside the mailbox is this white envelope. And on the envelope, in thick, blocky handwriting, just reads, "The new owner."
Oh my God, ominous.
The letter began, "Dearest new neighbor at 657 Boulevard, allow me to welcome you to the neighborhood." And I'm getting a little ahead of myself because we don't really know anything about this neighborhood. And the story doesn't really start in 2014 either.
Huh.
We call that the bait and switch, baby. Da-da.
Gosh, I'm so interested. But now she's got to give me the real context.
I gotta give the context. I have 3 episodes of Titanic just about context. I can't just get into the Watcher.
You didn't think she was just going to get right to the story, Chad? No.
No. We call that the bait and switch. If you knew this was a lady case, you knew we were derailing immediately. So let's talk about the house. Let's talk about Westfield, and let's figure out why this cheeky little house, 657 Boulevard, is so special.
Yeah.
So Westfield, New Jersey was settled as far back as 1699. That was kind of where we have established this is in fact a town. And it was actually part of a larger community called Elizabeth, which does exist in New Jersey today. So Westfield used to be part of Elizabeth. The area was actually used as a trail by the Lenni Lenape indigenous peoples, I want to say. I'm sorry if I mispronounced that. In about 1720, the area became known as Fields of West Elizabeth, or Westfields for short.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, it's pretty self-explanatory. Yeah, just go to the Westfields of Elizabeth. In 1794, it became the Township of Elizabeth, then eventually called Westfield Township. And in 1903, it was officially incorporated as its own town of Westfield. So Elizabeth and Westfield had a very messy divorce, and they broke up, and now they're different towns.
Well, it had to be like that sometimes.
It used to be like that sometimes. It happens to the best of us.
Yeah.
Westfield is about 6.3 miles in size, so it's not very big. And as of 2023, the population was about 30,500 people. So actually not that much bigger than the town you were talking about. Was it Maldaham?
Maldaham, yeah.
Yeah, so very similar sized towns. The official website of Westfield has this to say: Westfield, New Jersey is a classic town for modern families, noted for its beautiful downtown area, excellent school system, and convenient commute to New York City. It offers residents the attractions of fine suburban living with an easy route to metropolitan New York. So basically what they're saying is it's great if you need to get to New York.
Yeah. It's a great little stopover town, you want to live here and then get to New York. It's great for that.
because I've lived in New Jersey. I've lived there. And I will be honest, most people who live in New Jersey just need an easy way to get to New York.
You just don't want to live in New York.
They don't want to live in New York. New Jersey, it's a nicer place to live, but a worse place to work. Like, you work in New York and you live in New Jersey. That's kind of the way that I at least interpret it.
I've seen that trope a lot, even in shows and movies and stuff like that. People are always like, New Jersey. Like, New Yorkers and New Jerseyans, like, hate each other, but, like, they're
pretty much
brothers.
the same.
Yeah.
They're pretty much the same. I'm sorry. I think more now than ever. Like, people have, like, when they figured out that they can, like, work remotely, they're like, why would I live here? Why would I be in New York?
It's so expensive and so crowded, and like, you actually have a suburb and can have a yard if you live in New Jersey. So it has a lot of appeal for people, especially for families and stuff. So
100%. Most residents of Westfield consider it to be pretty idyllic. It's, quote, the kind of place where a new neighbor might greet you with a welcoming note.
Oh.
Quote.
Why did that just give me the blood skeeves? Like, I hated that.
Isn't that like such an ominous thing to just put like as like your? And like, this is before everything kicked off. Like that was just something that like everyone just like leaves each other like a happy little note. And like,
oh god, that's like a haunting prophecy for the future. Like you said, that's just too on the nose for this case that it like, no.
Yeah. So Westfield is also considered a bit too slow for singles. And that's a quote. So the population is mostly of like families or retirees. So it's people who like, they come here with their families and then they stay here forever.
That makes sense.
Yeah. In 2018, Westfield was ranked the 99th richest city in America. So it was in the top 100, baby.
Ooh, look at you.
It was also, but it was only the 18th wealthiest in New Jersey. So gotta get on it. Get on it, Westfield. So in 2014, when everything had kicked off, Westfield was actually named the 30th safest town in the U.S. by Neighborhood
So it's just
Scout.
up there. It's just topping the charts in every category. We're wealthy. We're beautiful. We got hot people here. Unless if you're single, get out. You probably won't like us.
The singles live in New York, but everyone cool lives in New Jersey, in Westfield.
Yeah, once you go find your hot, cool spouse in New York, come back and then you can move into New Jersey. That's when we'll welcome you back.
Pretty much. Like, that's that on that. There was actually a report I found like before all this Watcher stuff kicked off. Like the most pressing issue of Westfield was that their local Trader Joe's had to temporarily close due to a roof collapse. That was like the biggest issue that they had gone through until like the Watcher.
Well, I mean, every town's got to have some, drama that's happening. So if that's theirs, more power to them.
Yeah, like I think that really hammers down like the town. This is what the kind of town we're talking about. It's like it's a very, I don't know, it's a little affluent. It's just like it's very idyllic. It's almost like suburban wet dream kind of like it's like nothing bad happens in Westfield. Like everything is just perfect. Everyone goes to the country club, and plays tennis, and everyone goes to the Trader Joe's. And they buy organic vegetables, and everyone
until the roof collapsed, and then they're talking about it at the country club, going, "Hey, Barbara, did you hear about the freaking Trader Joe's roof?" Like,
now we have to go to Whole Foods. God,
the humanity.
And also for additional context, Westfield is about 85% white, so do with that what you will. So for the house itself, 657 Boulevard was built in 1905, so just when Westfield was becoming its own town. So it was like one of the pioneer houses. It's a Dutch colonial house. It spans about half an acre. It's a 6-bedroom, 3 full bathroom, 1 half bathroom. And it sits at about 380 square feet.
Okay.
The house has a basement, a detached garage, 4 fireplaces, and 2 porches.
Wow.
So,
sounds nice.
It's a nice house. It's a nice house. You can look at it on Zillow.
I think I will. Thank you.
It's sitting on Boulevard Street, hence the name. And from what I can see from the street views, it's one of the larger homes on the street. So it's it's the nicer ones. It's a bit of a larger home on the street.
Got like that nice curb appeal.
Yeah, it's about 4 homes from the street corner. It does back onto other houses, so new neighbors be warned. There's other houses near you. It has two next door neighbors and a house on the back. So like it is surrounded, but it's got some privacy. There's some hedges and.
Yeah.
It's just a nice house.
Yeah.
It's undergone a couple of changes over the years, and it's also passed through several hands over the years. 1913, William H. Davies bought the house for $1.
I'm sorry. I was not born in the right time. What?
Yeah, you can buy a house for $1 in 1913.
Okay.
Right before the Great Depression.
I know this case wasn't meant to piss me off, but I feel attacked.
Fun fact, that's worth $32 today. So
that's criminal still. Unbelievable.
Yeah, and William H. Davies eventually would be elected mayor, but only for 1 term in 1932, about 20 years later after he bought the house. So there's that. July 16th, 1947, Davies, now no longer mayor, he served his one term. He decides to sell the house to his son, Ernest Davies, and his daughter-in-law, Frances, for $1.
I literally have no words for the situation. For $1.
For $1.
What did he run for mayor? Like, what was his campaign? I'm going to slash housing costs. Like, it's too expensive.
But you laugh. He sold the house to his son for $1, which was at that time worth $14.15. So he undersold the house to his kids.
God.
So he did cut housing costs.
We got to move on before I become too upset about this.
Sorry, well, it's just going to get worse. So 4 years later, in 1951, Ernest and Frances sell the house to Dillard and Mary Bird, as well as Nora Bird, who was a widow, and I can only assume she was either Dillard's mother or sister. It doesn't say. No specific dollar amount was set on the sale, but it's presumed that it was another $1 sale.
Oh my gosh, it's the same dollar. They just keep passing it down. Like
this is the Westfield dollar.
Oh my gosh. I imagine they even slide it to him. They're like, this is the dollar. You just hand it back to me, and then the house is yours. Like that's all it is.
I also kind of wonder, why are you getting rid of this house for like $1? Like, what's wrong with it? What's up with this house that you're getting rid of for $1? So that $1 in 1951 was worth about $12.30. So once again, it's losing value.
Oh my gosh.
Another 4 years later, in 1955, the Birds sell the home to Lawrence and Mary Holmes Schaefer and their kids. Bill Schaefer, the couple's son, stated that he believed the home sale went through at around $23,000, which would come out to $270,855 today. So it's not worth $1 anymore.
Quite the price hike. Oh my gosh. How did we go from that?
Yeah, that's a 4-year difference. We went from $1 to $23,000.
I don't even want to talk about it.
And if you look at inflation, that went from $12 to $270,000. Like, whoosh.
I have no words.
Yeah. God, isn't the economy just a fun thing to look at?
That gosh darn economy.
So in 1963, the Birds sell the house to Seth and Floyd Bakes. No amount is disclosed on this, so I ballparked it. We definitely know that it was more than $1. I did some really, really basic math, and my guesstimate is that it was between $60,000 to $80,000, which would put it around $605,000 or $807,000 today.
Wow.
So that was my really rough ballpark, but that's not confirmed. That's just what I would presume based on the difference of inflation from its sales today versus the sales in the past. $1 is not a lot to go on, but that's what I guessed it to be.
Yeah.
That's what I guessed it to be. In November 29th, 1990, the Bakes sold the home to John and Andrea Woods, and this goes for a whopping $370,000, which is about $893,000 today.
Wow. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So steadily hiking.
Yeah, steadily.
So the Woods live here very happily for 24 years. In that time, they both retire, the children grow up, they move out, they decide it's time to downsize. Like, they have this huge 6-bedroom house with 4 bathrooms. They're like, there's only 2 of us now. We really don't need this. Let's just sell it to the next beautiful, affluent family that's moving into this beautiful neighborhood.
Of course.
So 657 goes onto the market in 2014, and they sell the house on June 2nd, 2014 for $1.3 million.
Oh my gosh, that's a big pie.
That's a big pie. The new owners are Derek and Maria Broadus, along with their 3 children.
I wonder if that's the most money someone's ever spent to be harassed.
It's quite an amount, right?
That's crazy.
Yeah, like you're buying this house. It's like, it's beautiful. It's idyllic. It's like passing the torch from one beautiful family to another. Like, here, you will live here for 24 years, and your children will grow, and you'll sell this house for $5 million because the economy will still be in shambles, and then they'll sell their house 24 years after that for $30 million, and it will all just it's just the circle of life. It's the circle of life. Wow. So, by all accounts, Derek and Maria are just a really ordinary family. They're just looking for a place to, raise their kids. They're looking for a place to settle down, basically, buy a house for 24 years and just be there.
Yeah.
Maria had actually grown up in Westfield, only a few blocks away from 657 Boulevard. So, she was very familiar with this area. She has grown up amongst these people. This is home to her.
That makes it even more eerie. I don't like where this is going. Just knowing where we're going with this. All of these things you're telling me. I'm like, this just doesn't make it better. This just doesn't make it better. You buy this house in your childhood neighborhood that you feel safe and comfortable, and you're like, this is my comfort. I'm gonna grow my roots here. I'm gonna have my own kids. This is gonna be our neighborhood.
Yeah. This is a woman who is like, as a kid, I was raised here. My family owned this house for 24 years. I was raised here. And now I'm going to do the same with my kids. And their kids will do the same. And their kids will do the same. And we're all Westfieldians.
Wow.
And then just, it doesn't go that way. Derek, on the other hand, was born and raised in working class Maine. So he was a Maine boy. So not a Westfieldian.
Gotcha.
Derek was employed in an insurance company in Manhattan, New York, where he had steadily worked his way up the ladder to become a senior vice president. I think I know which company he worked for, but I do not want to dox him because he is a living person and he is still out there in the world and might still work there.
Yeah.
The only reason I went to confirm what company it was is because I wanted to see if it was Travelers Insurance, because I'm all about the conspiracy theories.
Right? You're like, huh.
I just want to know, but it wasn't Travelers Insurance, so they got off scot-free this time.
Yeah. Just this time, Travelers. We'll get you next time.
We're watching you, Travelers Insurance. Derek had just celebrated his 40th birthday when they had bought the house. So I remember what I said. The Broaduses closed the sale on June 2nd, 2014. And it was on June 5th that Derek had finished painting and went to go check the mailbox.
Okay.
So 3 days later, after they bought the house.
Just a very short time.
I also really want to stress this early because there's a lot of misinformation about this, especially with the Netflix show. The family had not moved into the house yet.
Oh.
They do not live there.
Oh.
The house is empty. They bought the house on the 2nd, and they were fixing the house up, but they were not living there. They were still living in their old house.
Okay.
So they hadn't moved in yet.
That is an important detail.
It's a very important detail. They weren't there. They were not in the line of fire, but it's a lot of misinformation about this case. A lot of resources, they're like, oh, they moved in immediately. And they didn't.
Yeah.
They did not. They were not there. Especially when this first letter arrived, they were not there in the house. So yeah, they were staying in their old home, but they were spending a lot of time at the new house. They were doing it up. They were painting the walls. They were getting contract work done. It's an older house. It means fix it up.
Yeah.
That's what they were doing in the house. The kids were starting to pick which rooms that they were eventually going to move into, and they were playing in the back garden. They were getting more familiar with the space. And they were basically we are going to move into this house.
Yeah, prepping it. There's that
Yeah.
first few days, like you said, of kind of just getting everything ready, especially when you have time with moving. I know sometimes you're forced to move in pretty quickly, and so like you said, you're moving in day of. That's happened.
Yeah.
I'm sure a lot of people
Yeah.
have been in that situation. I've been in that situation.
This is also midsummer, so the kids are not in school right now. It's summer vacation, so they're just excited. They're spending the summer getting ready to move into this brand new house, and then they're gonna pick a new school. They're just gonna live their 24 years here very blissfully. That's the dream.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, so they were fixing up the house. They also had a lot of contractors coming into the house, and that's important for later. So, anywho, Derek's at home alone. He's painting the walls. It's 10 o'clock at night. Lights in the house are on. Sorry, the lights in the house are on. He's packing up. He's ready to head back to his family in his old home. He decides to check the post. He finds this unmarked letter, and immediately the whole vibe is off. He's like, I don't like this. Something's off about this letter.
Yeah. If it's a friendly neighbor, wouldn't you sign it? Wouldn't you say, hi, welcome to the neighborhood. We're the Andersons. We live next door. We're the so-and-so. You know what I mean? It wouldn't just be, an anonymous, unsigned letter.
Well, it was signed.
Wait.
And we're about to read. We're about to read what I can find of the letter. So I'm also, once again, I want to stress, I have not been able to find a full copy of this letter. If it exists, it was never released. There's no copy of it. There's no verbatim transcript of this letter. There are snippets that are floating, and so I have pieced together the snippets as best I can. This might not necessarily be the right order, but this is the best I could put it together. So just keep that in mind. The TV show also talks about the letters, and it reads the full letter. But once again, it's a TV show. I don't know if that's accurate, so I haven't used that letter. I've used the snippets that I could find in reliable sources.
I see. Okay.
So here is letter number 1. Dearest new neighbor at 657 Boulevard, allow me to welcome you to the neighborhood. How did you end up here? Did 657 Boulevard call to you with its force within? The boulevard used to be the street to live on. You made it if you lived on Boulevard. 657 Boulevard has been the subject of my family for decades now, and as it approaches its 110th birthday, I have been put in charge of watching and waiting for its second coming. My grandfather watched this house in the 1920s, and my father watched the house in the 1960s. It is now my time. Do you know the history of the house? Do you know what lies within the walls of 657 Boulevard? Why are you here? I will find out. I see already that you have flooded 657 Boulevard with contractors so that you can destroy the house as it was supposed to be. Tisk, tisk, tisk. Bad move. You don't want to make 657 Boulevard unhappy. I have asked the woods to bring me young blood, and it looks like they have listened. You have children. I have seen them. So far, I think there are 3 that I have counted. More on the way? Do you need to fill the house with the young blood I requested? Better for me. Was your old house too small for the growing family? Or was it greed to bring me your children? Once I know their names, I will call to them and draw them to me. Who am I? There are hundreds and hundreds of cars that drive by 657 Boulevard each day. Maybe I am in one. Look at all the windows you can see from 657 Boulevard. Maybe I am in one. Look out of the many windows in 657 Boulevard at all the people who stroll by each day. Maybe I am one. Welcome, my friends, welcome. Let the party begin. The Watcher. Thoughts?
I'm actually speechless. Like, that is like the creepiest letter I think I've ever heard in my life. Like, that's not like from a piece of fiction.
It's nightmare fuel, right?
Yeah, that is actually unreal. Humans are terrifying.
We are the cruelest creatures to ever exist.
Like, at least if a cheetah's gonna kill you, they're just gonna kill you and, like, kill you.
Yeah.
What the fuck is this?
What the fuck is
this? What the fuck is this?
That's exactly what Derek thought. He read that letter and he was like, what the fuck is this? Absolutely the fuck not. He goes back inside the house, turns off all the lights so nobody can see inside, locks all the doors, and immediately calls the police. He's just like, hello, 911. I'd like to report a case of the absolutely the fuck not.
Yeah, literally, like, I need you here now and also forever. Thank you. Goodbye.
Yes,
See you
hello.
soon.
I am in need of a serious assistance. Like, this is absolutely not okay.
Oh my god. And like you said, there's so much information packed into that just leads to so many questions. And I'm sure we're going to cover all of them. But just,
Yeah.
what the fuck?
And once again, that's not the complete letter. There is no release of the complete letter. There is probably information in the first letter that was omitted that is just not circulating. But that's what we have. So
Yeah.
that's what we'll go with.
That reminds me of the other letter from my last case. I'm like, I couldn't find, like, I could see like little things that I'm like, maybe is that actually it? I only got written descriptions of so many things. It's so hard to tell when you can't actually see.
Yeah. And what we'll find with this case is that this case is very private. There's not a lot of information other than like almost like the media sensation behind it. Like the Broaduses were actually very private in their whole encounter. Like they were very tight with like the information they released, which is a good thing and a bad thing because, you know, of course, as you know, people want to know, people want to help, people just want to like know. It's very invasive, but especially with something that's active, you have to be very careful with what you release.
Yeah.
Because you don't know what it will spiral to.
Yeah, stuff can frenzy so quickly, and like you said, you rile someone up who wrote a letter like that, you have no idea what they're capable of. And like you said, the fact that this person, this creature, whatever this horrible being is, they wrote about his children, that changes everything. I'm not a parent, but I can't imagine having kids and having an unknown shadowy figure
that's actually
say, I'm going to beckon to your children. I'm going to learn their names and call to them. Like, I'm sorry. I don't own a gun, but like that's crazy. Like, that's so crazy.
This is a wild thing to get on day 3 of owning a new house. That's a wild thing.
I no longer want to own this new house.
No. So Derek calls the police. An officer come
undo.
Yeah. Just Control Z, please. Like, I gotta get out of here.
Yeah.
So, yes, the officer comes to the house, he reads over this letter, and he just goes, "Sir, what the fuck is this?" And Derek's like, "Exactly." You were taking the words right out of my mouth.
Yeah.
So the officer asks the usual questions. Do you have any idea who could have done this? Do you have any enemies? Have you pissed off any of your new neighbors? All very solid questions, all things that you should start asking. Yeah. Derek's like, "No, sir, I've never pissed a neighbor off a day in my life."
It's like, I'm a great neighbor.
I'm a great neighbor. I've been here for 3 days. There's very little damage that I can do right now.
Yeah, I'm true.
Yeah, so the officer takes a look around the house. He sees all the construction equipment from the contractors, and he's like, "Okay, there's not a lot we can go on right now, but bring all of the contractor equipment inside just in case this watcher decides to throw something through a window to try and gain access. Which I'm like, solid advice. Like, this guy's at least like, hey, like, we don't know what this is.
Seriously.
We don't know. Yeah, we don't know how serious this is, but like, just in case, bring everything inside. Don't give them ammunition.
Yeah.
So, presumably, after leaving the house in a stable condition and bringing all the contractor equipment inside, Derek rushes back to home to Maria and the kids, who I hope were asleep at the time.
Yeah.
Because it's probably about like 12:30, 1 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
Maria's awake before she's waiting for Derek to get back. And so Derek's like, hey, Maria, you should fucking check this out. And he hands her the letter. Maria's like, what the fuck is this, Derek?
Yeah. Why'd you show this to me, Derek?
Derek,
like, I don't want to know, Derek.
Derek, what the fuck, Derek? They're calling out to our children.
Oh, God. Derek, you couldn't have waited until morning?
Yeah, so logically, the Broaduses decide it's time to email the former owners of the house because what the fuck is this? Like, huh?
That would be my first thing, too. Like you said, it mentions that they've been watched before. I'd be like, did you also receive this crazy letter? Is this you, maybe? I don't want to say it's you, but like, is this you?
Yeah, so 100%, once again, they're doing the right thing. They're like, hey, previous family who owned this house, you were mentioned directly in the letter, the Woods. The fuck? Do you have anything to say? Anything to add? Anything you might have let us know about?
You want to warn us and
it's also like 2 o'clock in the morning at this point. So like they send off the email. They're like, we have to wait until like reasonable working hours before we get a response.
Oh, see, I wouldn't be that night. I'd be like, I'm sorry, you have to wake up at 2 a.m. If I'm up at 2 a.m., so are you.
Yeah, so they don't get a response back from the Woods until the following morning, and their response is like something along the lines of, well, now that you mention it, there was this one weird letter we received right before we moved out, but it wasn't anything to be concerned over. Okay. So the Woods had received one letter around the week of May 26th. Andrea Wood said that, similar to the Broadus' letter, the watcher made mention of watching the house, but nothing super alarming, and that they just found the letter more odd than threatening.
Do we know what their letters said?
We do not know, because they got the letter, thought it was weird, and they immediately threw it out.
I mean, valid. Yeah,
they never kept it. There's no record of this letter. Only that they said that they did receive a letter in May.
Huh.
Like, you can also attribute this to like moving in and out versus like just a couple versus a couple with kids. So like when you're moving out and you receive a letter going, I'm watching your house. They're like, okay, it's not our house anymore.
Yeah.
Whereas you're the moving in family and you have small children and you're getting a letter going, I'm watching your children and I'm going to call to them into the night.
Yeah.
It's a slightly different vibe.
Yeah.
So that's my take on it. But we don't have the Woods' letter, so we have no idea what it says. There's nothing to compare it to. But yeah, they also said that they've only ever received the one letter, and they'd never received anything like it in 24 years of living in this house. So when they received the first one, they were just like, okay, thanks, weirdo, and then they threw it away. Yeah.
Never throw away weird letters.
Maybe sometimes throw away weird letters.
I guess maybe that, you never know. Sometimes that's a trick. That maybe throwing it away and just ignoring it would have, I don't know.
There's no way to know with any of these cases. It's the same with like the Ingrid case we did last week. It's like if she had kept the notes, would that be more evidence? But if she didn't, like, does it change anything? We don't know.
Yeah, small, like, you look back on these things with hindsight, like, foresight, like, how do you know? You never know what to do. You know what I mean? Like, but hindsight, you're like, man, if only she would have just, like, stayed at her parents' house for lunch that day, like, things would have been different.
Know?
Like,
but how could she know?
So if they just would have bought, instead of 657, if they would have just bought 756 Boulevard, like, this wouldn't have happened. But it's like, it's just weird how life is these, like you said, series of dominoes that get us into these situations that are just like, wait, how the fuck did I get here? How am I holding this letter right now and someone's watching me? Like, what?
Yeah, and we talk about this a little bit later. There were other houses in the neighborhood that were for sale. Like, there were like other people who had like freshly moved in, and like it's just like it's the luck of the draw. Like, we got this house, we got the watcher.
That's crazy.
But I will say kudos to the Woods. They also could see that the Broaduses were like sufficiently freaked out. So they did volunteer to go with Maria to the police station the next day and help them like try and figure out what was up with the weird letter thing.
Okay, that's nice.
So at the station, Maria and the Woods are interviewed by Detective Leonard Lugo. And after hearing their story, Detective Lugo is like, okay, that's really weird. Don't tell anybody about this.
That's the advice, is just don't tell anyone about it?
Yeah, don't tell anybody about this. Don't tell anybody. This includes all of their neighbors, which with most of which the couple had not met yet. This also included their friends and close family.
I don't know. See, I'm so bad with secrets, like surprises, good surprises. So a bad surprise, I'd be like, I have to tell everyone this. This is like bubbling under my skin. I have to tell you right now. I would have called you before I called the police. You know that. I would have been standing there with a letter in my hand, like, lady, what do I do? Oh my God. And you'd be like, you need to hang up and call the police. And I'd be like, good idea. Yes, smart.
I probably would have done the same. I would have received this weird letter and I'd be like, oh no, what's going on? What do I do? I'm just singing around my really dark kitchen like I got a weird letter and I don't know who was looking at my house right now.
As a kid, I was prepared to stop, drop, and roll. I was ready for fires. I was ready for quicksand. I was ready for a lot of things. Receiving a letter like that when you move into a house, like there's nothing in life that prepares you for that moment.
Nothing that in life that will prepare you for the scale of this letter.
No.
So, of course, getting the advice of like, hey, don't tell anyone, that does not help calm the situation at all. And now it has made everybody a suspect.
Yeah. You'd be sus of and when the letter literally does that, like it's written specifically to incite distrust in every person that you look at. Am I anyone walking the street? Am I in the cop that you just called to come to your house right now? Like, like you don't know.
No idea. And it's almost like deliberate egging, isn't it? It's like they're like the letter is deliberately trying to get a rise out of you because it is attacking you at some level. It's not like, hey, I'm your watcher, like don't freak out, like I'm just gonna be watching the house, like everything's hunky-dory. It's not that. It's, hey, I'm going to become an active participant into your life and there's nothing you can do about that.
And what does fresh blood mean?
Oh, young blood.
Young blood. What do you mean? Like, don't talk about my children. They're not blood. They're people. Stop.
These children are not blood.
These children are not blood. There's not any blood in them. I promise. Don't.
These are blood-free kids.
These are my children. There's no blood.
These children come blood-free.
You get boneless or bloodless. I chose bloodless.
No, I chose boneless. That was my mistake.
Hey, this is why we compliment each other.
I love my ghosts boneless.
All right, I'm sorry to derail. Back to this case.
Yes, so back to the case.
They can't tell anyone.
Yes, they can't tell anyone. Enter the next couple of weeks of high tension. So Broaduses are on high alert. Derek cancels a business trip scheduled for the next few weeks just so we can keep a better eye on the house. He's just like, I need to be an active participant in what the fuck is going on. When the kids need to be watched, Maria is always like keeping a very close eye on them, and she wouldn't like let them like leave like a 10-foot radius of her.
Yeah.
So like she would actively call their names if like they strayed too far. Like she would she became known as like this woman who would just start screaming. Like she would just start screaming her kids' names if they like started wondering.
That's so sad for her. Like that's the new like reputation she's getting. She moved into her childhood neighborhood. She's so excited to share this like with her kids, and instead now she's this vigilante like helicopter parent by default, like that she has no choice over because someone literally like by name almost threatened her children.
Yeah. I truly think Maria got like the shortest end of the stick in this whole endeavor. Like this was her home, and you know what happens to this family as a consequence of this letter. I don't know. It's like it's unrecoverable almost.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. We get 2 seconds in and I derail us again on this.
No, it's all good. So, a few days after the letter arrives, Maria and Derek, along with their kids, are invited to a neighborhood barbecue across the street as like a welcome to the neighborhood kind of thing.
Oh,
so the party was hosted to welcome the Broaduses and another family that had just moved in to another house that was on sale. Like they've all just freshly moved in. So like, hey, welcome. Here's all of our neighbors. Like, let's all just be like the good old Boulevard family. True to their word, the Broaduses had not told any of their neighbors about the super creepy letter. So they were basically.
So they just go and pretend like nothing happened. They're
they just pretend. They have to pretend that everything was okay. But that does not stop them from being super suspicious of everyone at this barbecue. And they're kind of like, hey, do you like letter writing? Do you enjoy writing letters for fun?
Was this letter, I know you said you couldn't get like a copy, but like, do you know if it was handwritten or was it typed? So the envelope is handwritten, but the contents of the letter is typed. Okay. I'd be like, I need let's guys, this fun new game. I don't know if you guys do that here on Boulevard, but like where I come from,
let's all sign our names.
Yeah, let's all just like sign our name and like one sheet of paper, and then whoever is the last one to sign it just takes that piece of paper home. Oh, look at me, I'm the last one. I get to take that home. Haha, okay, new game.
Pretty much like they're spending this time like trying to pretend to be like normal and like be excited to move into this neighborhood, but they're also like on the down low, like the kids don't know. The kids don't know anything about this. It's just Maria and Derek. basically like looking for clues, talking to the neighbors, like trying to get an idea of like, is there somebody that is like, is this possible? And they're also keeping a very close eye on their kids because they don't want someone to come out the bushes and call to their children.
That's a scary thing too, is the kids probably, as a kid, you know your parents, right? And all of a sudden they start acting way different than they ever have, both of them. When you move into this house, your mom is, usually a laid back, really nice, chill lady. And all of a sudden she's like, you're like, Mom, can I go hang out with Bobby upstairs in his room? And she's like, no, you need to stay down here in my eyesight at all times. And you're like, okay. Yeah. Sure, I guess. Sorry, Bobby, I can't go play video games with you upstairs, even though my mom's down here. And they're just like, okay, sure, weirdo.
Yeah, and like, no, and they're kids. Like, they want to run, they're playing, they're like trying to be the new neighborhood kids. Like, this is a neighborhood of families. Like, they're trying to make friends. And then here's Derek and Maria just screaming their kid's name to stay close in a barbecue. Like, they've got the neighbors like, oh, like, you're helicopter parents. Okay.
Yeah, oh, God.
So, like, yeah, even Maria had this to say. We kept screaming at them to stay close. People must have thought that we were crazy.
Oh God, my heart is aching so bad in this moment for them. Like,
yeah, and we've only just begun.
Yeah, this silent struggle.
So at this party, Derek was chatting with one of his new neighbors, John Schmidt, who lived 2 doors down from them. And John begins telling Derek about a family called the Langfords, who live in the house between them at 661 Boulevard. So that would make Langfords Broadus' next door neighbor.
Okay.
So John says that Peggy Langford is like the matriarch of this family, and she was in her 90s, and several of her adult children lived with her, all of whom were in their 60s.
Oh.
So the family was a little odd, says John, but they meant well and they were harmless. John then describes one of Peggy's younger kids, a guy named Michael Langford, who didn't work and was home most of the time, and he was described as a kind of Boo Radley character.
Oh my gosh, suspect number 1.
So, I don't know if you know what a Boo Radley character is. But
From To Kill a Mockingbird.
From To Kill a Mockingbird. But I've done the research for you, chat, in case you didn't know who a Boo Radley character is. So a little bit of context for you. Arthur Boo Radley is a character from To Kill a Mockingbird. 100% right. He's a full-grown man. He lives in a house very close to the main character's house in the book. It's kind of like on between their house and the school. So like it's a logical like place you walk by, but the other kids don't walk by that house because it's crazy. The crazy Mr. Boo Radley lives there. He's a bit of a recluse. He doesn't go outside. A lot of the neighbors whisper about him, so very similar to what they were doing with the Langfords. Yeah. Boo Radley was abused by his father as a young boy, which left him with severe emotional damage. He's very shy. He lives kind of vicariously through his window, and he builds a fondness for Jem and Scout because they're kids and they're innocent, and they're the only ones who go by their house because they're like, that's literally the fastest way to get to our house. I don't know what to tell you. Yeah. He also leaves the little presents in the old tree, which eventually gets filled by cement because the people don't want Boo Radley interacting with children because they think he's a risk. Also, spoiler alert, he saves the kids from a disgruntled man who tries to get back at their dad, but you need to read To Kill a Mockingbird to understand that.
It's a great book. If you haven't read it, you should absolutely go read it right now.
It's usually a required reading in American schools. If you haven't read it, I think it's definitely worth a read. It wasn't my favorite book to read, but I also think, I was also forced to read it 3 times, so I got a little tired of it.
That's fair. I was that nerd in school. Every single book that I was required to read, I ended up loving. So like, Animal Farm, like Great Gatsby, like all of like those classic books. I was just like, oh my God, these are so great. Thank you so much, teacher, for making me read this.
So I didn't get to read Animal Farm or Great Gatsby or any of like the other ones. I just had to read To Kill a Mockingbird 3 times because I kept changing schools and like it was a different required reading every time.
Oh, and they were just always on that assignment. They were always like,
it was always To Kill a Mockingbird or it was Catcher in the Rye, which I hated with a passion. I fucking hated Catcher in the Rye.
See, that's the one I haven't read.
Oh, you're so lucky. Not to diss Catcher in the Rye, but I fucking hate that book with a passion, and it can stay out of my life.
All right. Well, I love this little trip down.
But down School Lane.
Yeah, this is great.
Anywho,
good reference though. I think that's a really great way to paint this picture of the Langfords and their son.
100%. And anyway, like Derek hears this, and he's just like, "Fucking jackpot! We got him. Case closed.
Yeah,
it's him."
Calling the cops right now. Beep, beep, beep. Officer, got him.
Quite literally. The Langfords have been living in the house since the 1960s, which is when the Watcher had mentioned that their father had been observing the 657 Boulevard.
Too many boxes are being checked.
Michael Langford's father, Richard Langford, had passed away about 12 years ago. And the current Watcher would claim that they had been on the job for the better part of 2 decades. So about 12 years.
Yeah.
The math is check it out. The math is math.
Yeah.
They also don't really have much to go on at this point other than the whispers of Mr. John Smith. So the Broaduses are a little stuck. They're like, we're pretty convinced it's this guy, but we also have no evidence.
Yeah.
There's also a couple of like additional incidents worth mentioning where like they're not as big as like this barbecue, but like they're worth talking about. So Derek gave a tour to another couple who lived on the street of like showing off the latest renovations of the house, which is an interesting choice if you're paranoid about your neighbors, but all right.
Yeah.
It's not my house. And Derek remembers feeling like a shiver of dread when one of them says, "It will be nice to have some young blood in the neighborhood."
Yeah. Is there a cult here? Like, is that what's happening?
Yeah, I mean, like, I almost like wonder, it's like, is this a common turn of phrase for Elizabeth and Westfield? Like, is that just something that the people say? Like, I lived in Jersey and I do not remember people like referring to children as young blood.
As young, yeah.
But also, like, I wasn't really around children.
Yeah.
So, like, is this, like, Jerseyans, New Jerseyans, please weigh in. Do you call your children young blood? And if so, why? Have you considered that it might be a little bit creepy?
Right. And I mean, maybe just this particular neighborhood because of how, like, I don't want to say historic because that's not the right word, but just how, like, lived in it is with how many generational families that seem to have, like, stayed here, grew up here. I mean, even Maria herself seemed to be from this area. So, like, maybe the older generations are just happy to see that it is still continuing to go on. And so maybe... I don't know, like you said, maybe that's just in this area, that's just a common turn of phrase of like, yeah, we're happy to see the new people, the young, quote unquote, young blood. I don't know, but I hate it and it's creepy and we should stop saying it, to be honest.
Yeah, it's definitely it's a little alarming. Yeah. But it's not overly incriminating, but it's weird. It's weird for sure that this is like the other like turn of like phrase that we've heard it.
It's again one of those things where it's a totally common thing, but when you butt it up against other weird stuff, you're like, yeah, that's is it just weird on its own, or is it weird because it's weird?
Is it 1,000 things, like 1,000 weird things in Puerto Rico, or is it the chupacabra?
That's seriously, is it 1,000 weird things in Puerto Rico, or is it the chupacabra? That is just the best way to describe it. Truly, we don't know right now, but we'll see.
Because the night is young, and so are we.
Wow.
So yeah, there was also an incident where a general contractor returned one morning to finish some work, and a large heavy sign that had been hammered into the front yard had been ripped out overnight. Once again, not much to go on here other than the Watcher being a general menace, because it didn't go through a window. Like, it wasn't used to try and access anything. It was just literally like they put in a sign and the sign was ripped out like immediately.
What was the sign?
I don't know. I could not find a description of the sign. It might have been like maybe a for sale, or it might have been like, like sometimes the people like name houses. They're like, this is the Broadus' house, or this is the Kennedys. We all live here. Like, they have like a sign that goes in front.
That's why I wanted to know, because that was my first thought, was like, oh, this is our house, and they were like, no, it's not, and they like unread it. I don't know.
I don't know what kind of sign this was. The fact that it was like a large heavy sign, I genuinely, like, there was no description of what the sign was, and it's like a very like a minor incident and gets brushed over so much. So I'm like, it very well could be an identifier, or it might have just been a contractor sign where it's just like, yep, this contractor firm worked on this house, like da 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 da. I don't know.
I mean, it couldn't even be like, some people have secured. They're like, this house is protected by ADP. Like, you know what I mean? You don't know. Like, it literally could have been somebody that were there. That would have even been more ominous, like a security sign, and that gets uprooted. That's almost just like, fuck your security. Like,
yeah, but the fact that it's described as a large, heavy sign, so it had weight to it, so it needed a lot of force to be removed because it was hammered in. So I genuinely, I don't know what the sign was. There was nothing in any of the reports to tell you like what kind of sign this was. Yeah, so right now the Watcher is being a menace, but like it's not a lot to go on.
So they installed cameras right after this, right?
Well, hold on, we're not there yet.
Okay. I mean, that's where I'm at. Is like, I'm like, how did we not already have cameras installed here to watch?
We're not there yet.
Okay.
So 2 weeks after the letter, June 18th, Maria stops by at the house to look at some paint samples because they're just not done painting. It's a large house. There's a lot of painting to be done. The contractor work, they're painting over some of the mistakes. And they're also there to check the mail.
Oh, God.
So as soon as she opens the mailbox, her heart drops because she immediately recognizes the white envelope and blocky handwriting on the letter. So this time, the letter was directly addressed to Maria and Derek, but their last name was misspelled.
That's weird.
So that kind of implies to me that the name was overheard, and they might not have been directly introduced, but once again, that's speculation. It's also like, it's not a common last name, so I can totally get not getting it the first time.
Or was it something to just be rude? Like, fuck you.
Yeah, it very well could have been something to be rude. Once again, there isn't a copy of like the full complete letter. This is once again stitched together snippets of what I can find. It might not necessarily be in the right order, but it's what I got. So, Mr. and Mrs. Broadus. Welcome again to your new home at 657 Boulevard. I am pleased to know your names now, and the name of the young blood you have brought to me. You certainly say their names often. The letter then references their daughter directly.
Oh, God.
I have seen daughter using an easel on the porch. Is she the artist of the family? The workers have been busy, and I have been watching you unload carfuls of your personal belongings. The dumpster is a nice touch. Have they found what is in the walls yet? In time they will. 657 Boulevard is anxious for you to move in. It has been years and years since young blood ruled the hallways of the house. Have you found all of the secrets it holds yet? Will the young blood play in the basement? Or are they too afraid to go down there alone? I would be very afraid if I were them. It is far away from the rest of the house. If you were upstairs, you would never hear them scream. Will they sleep in the attic? Or will you all sleep on the second floor? Who has the bedrooms facing the street? I'll know as soon as you move in. It will help me to know who is in which bedroom. Then I can plan better. All of the windows and doors in 657 Boulevard allow me to watch you and track you as you move through the house. Who am I? I am the Watcher, and have been in control of 657 Boulevard for the better part of 2 decades now. The Woods family turned it over to you. It was their time to move on and kindly sold it when I asked them to. I pass by many times a day. 657 Boulevard is my job, my life, my obsession. And now you are too, Broadus family. Welcome to the product of your greed. Greed is what brought the past 3 families to 657 Boulevard, and now it has brought you to me. Have a happy moving in day. You know I will be watching. Yeah.
I'm actually like crying tears of fear right now. Like that is the creepiest thing I've ever heard. Oh my God. I'm actually wiping my eyes away. Like that brought.
Yeah, no, it's an escalation. Like you thought the first letter was bad. The second one, it's pretty bad.
That's pretty bad.
It's pretty bad.
That's pretty bad. Don't talk about my daughter and her easel. Fuck off.
Yeah, so needless to say, Derek and Maria stopped bringing the kids to the house after this.
Yeah, I would move out of the country. Like, I'm sorry, I would be out. I would be in witness protection. Like,
it is nightmare fuel. It is nightmare. Yeah,
this is beyond nightmare. This is a living nightmare. Like, what is worse than a nightmare? Because you can't even wake up from a night. Like, nightmares you get to wake up from. There's an end. This is a living, like, they're in hell. Like,
yeah,
this is actually hell.
So this is 2 weeks apart. So the first letter arrives, and then 2 weeks later we get the second letter. And I'm like, at that point, you're starting to like relax after the first letter, right? You're starting to be like, okay, so like maybe it wasn't anything. Maybe it really was just like this one. Oh, here's the second one. Great.
I don't know.
Yeah. So needless to say, Derek and Maria stopped bringing the kids to the house.
Yeah.
They also, at this point, indefinitely postponed their move-in date. So they're like, we are not moving into this house right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, because as a reminder, they had not moved in at this point.
Why do they want to know what rooms they're in? What does that mean? What are you planning? What's the game plan? What's happening? What are you planning for my children that I'm not a part of these plans, that you're just making plans for my children? I'm so uncomfortable.
I think that's the scariest part of this case, is that you just don't know what the motive is. Like, what are they trying to get? Are they trying to get the children? Are they trying to get, like, upset the parent? Are they trying to get them to move out?
What's in the walls?
Because it feels like, it's trying to lure them in, but it's also angry that they're moving in. It's such a difference. It's such a juxtaposition of information where it's like, I can't wait for you to move in. I fucking hate you.
Yeah, literally though, like, thank you for bringing me this fresh blood, but also how dare you change anything? How dare you even be here? I can't wait for you to see what's in store, but also like watch the fuck out. Like it makes no sense. But at the same time, it does just what it needs to do. It gets right under your skin.
It does. And we talked a little bit about this in your case, where we talk about like what do stalkers want and who are they stalking? Is it you or is it their version of you? And I'm almost we'll kind of talk about it a little bit later, but I'm almost of that mindset where it's like, I don't think it mattered who moved into this house. The letters would not change. It was like, if no matter what family, like, if this is not a direct attack on the Broaduses, I do not think. I think this is just an attack on the new homeowner. And the Broaduses are just taking the shape of this enemy, this vague concept of who's taking over the house. And like, I genuinely think that this probably didn't start as a direct attack on the Broaduses. It just became that way because they were there. Yeah. They were easy. They were an easy punching bag.
But it's so hard to tell without a motive, like you said, without knowing, like, what the reason is. Because, I mean, that is, if we're looking at it from a stalkers and assassins, like, where it's someone, like you said, the eye of, like, the infatuated. But this also could be, like...
carnations versus red roses. Like, which version of you are they coming after?
But also, is it even about them? Is this just someone who, like, again, is this a hoax? Are they just trying to... Did someone else want to buy this house, and so they're trying to scare this family out? Like, did someone on the street? I don't know. Like, there's so many things. Does someone schizophrenic and just send in these letters? Like, who knows? Like,
we'll talk a bit about it a little bit later. I think it's later in my script, but yeah, these are definitely good questions to hold on to and keep in your hat. And just as we get more information, like, just start theorizing, try and get your head around it, because like it's a weird one for sure.
Yeah, because as much as you want to jump for the Langfords and be like, of course, they fit the bill. Like you said, we have no evidence. We have nothing. They sound a little suspicious, and that's it. And that's not enough. Like,
well, speaking of the Langfords, it's at this point that the Broaduses go to the police and be like, hey, have you heard about the Langfords?
Yeah, okay, fair.
They're like, so Derek and Maria go back to the police. They go back to Detective Lugo, and they're like, hey, so there's this Boo Radley type character that lives next door, and the Dakes check out, and the math is mathing, and we're really heckin' sus, and I think you should, like, at least talk to them and be like, what the fuck? Why are you sending these creepy letters to our house?
Maybe don't start with that question, but...
I mean, they're a little stressed right now.
Yeah.
So on top of that, the porch, one of the two, the one that's mentioned directly in the letter with the easel, is the porch that directly faces the Langford home.
Yeah. Okay.
We give them a pretty good view of that easel and the artist.
Not looking good for the Langfords right now.
No. So they walk up to Detective Lugo. They show him. They actually walk Detective Lugo into the house. They show him the porch. They show him the easel. They show how it's covered, what layers of protection and privacy there are, and they're basically proving like you'd have to be directly behind the house or right next door to see this particular view. And Derek and Maria are like pretty convinced it has to be the Langfords at this point. There's nobody else it could be.
Yeah.
And Detective Lugo is like, yeah, I already know. We already talked to him.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry.
That was exactly Derek's response. He was like, excuse me, what do you mean you've already talked to them?
Escúchame?
Yeah, excusez-moi. Pardonnez-moi.
Oh my god.
So, yeah, about a week after the first letter arrived, so about a week before our current situation, the week of June 9th, Detective Lugo actually brought Michael Langford to the police station for an interview. They had a very brief chat. Michael denied knowing anything about the letter, and he was released.
Liar!
So Detective Lugo did tell the Broaduses that Michael Langford's narrative did match some of the things in the letters, but, and this is his quote, this isn't CSI Westfield. When the wife is dead, it's the husband.
What?
What?
What does that mean? What does that mean? Detective Lugo?
I genuinely don't know. I can only assume that this is Detective Lugo. We're like, yeah, it's probably him, but we have nothing to get him on.
I don't like that answer.
Yeah, so once again, problem is evidence. There is nothing directly pointing the finger at Michael other than speculation at this point. Like, the letters are typed. There's no...
Yeah, and when the wife's dead, it's usually the husband. I don't know what to tell you. That's wise words from Detective Lugo.
The letters are typed. There's no warrant out for DNA. They can't just get a warrant to get DNA. None will be given willingly because they're like, no, why are you suspicious of us?
Oh, see, you gonna watch me, I'm gonna watch you back. I'll follow you around. I'll find your DNA. You will leave your DNA somewhere.
Yeah, so basically Detective Lugo says, like, short of a full-blown confession, which would never happen, ever, there really isn't anything the Westfield police can do.
What do you mean never, ever full-side confession? There's confessions.
Yeah, but they're just like, but we're not going to get one from the Langfords, so yeah.
I don't like this guy's attitude.
I don't like his attitude either, but that's basically what he says. He's like, hey, there's nothing the police can do. Sorry, like, let us know if anything else happens.
Huh.
And naturally, the Broaduses were, like, not very happy with this answer.
Yeah. Rightfully so.
So Derek had this to say, this is someone who threatened my kids, and the police are saying probably nothing's going to happen. Probably isn't good enough for me.
No.
The person attacked my family, and where I'm from, if you do that, you get your ass beat. And this is remember, Derek is from Maine, so don't piss off people from Maine, guys. So naturally, the Broaduses are very frustrated. They want answers, so they decide to launch their own investigation because the police have decided that there's nothing that they can do.
Good.
Derek, in particular, became a full-blown private investigator.
Holy shit.
He began setting up webcams all over 657 Boulevard, so there's your security cameras.
Yeah.
He spent several nights just crouched in the dark at night, waiting to see if anybody crept by or was checking around or peeking through the windows, and just to see who was around in close range.
Simultaneously impressed, but also that just the lengths that this poor man had to go through to protect his family. That's a man, though, when he looks his wife and his family in the eyes and said, "Babe, I'll do anything for you guys." That man literally means it. He's out there in the dead of night, literally, God.
That is one thing that can never be disputed about this case, is that Derek and Maria love their family.
Yeah.
And they are
good parents.
Fiercely protective of their family, of each other, and of their kids. And I will not stand any slander in that regard to the Broaduses. They're looking out for their family, which is the most important thing. They are making sure that their family is safe. Derek also had tables in their old home covered in documents relating to the case. He had made several copies of all of the letters just to analyze handwriting and irregularities, typos, just comparing pieces and parts of all of them. He was marking them all up. He also only shared this with very few friends and family members. They were taking the original advice seriously, but don't share this, don't spread this around. The Broaduses did not advertise this. They didn't let their neighbors know.
Yeah.
They didn't let most of their family know. They didn't let most of their friends know. There was just very few confidants were privy to the letters themselves, never mind the contents of the letters.
Especially after being blown off by the police like that, I would be so suspicious of telling anybody because of that reaction, truly. I would just be no, this information, like you said, honestly, it's going to do me no good to share it with anyone. I just need to figure this out for myself. And once I do, that is when I can take action and move forward.
Yeah.
But until I know for certain who it is, what can you do? And Derek is clearly in that boat. And
he's just okay, well, if you can't do anything, let me see what I can do.
Yeah.
He also had those big red string maps with very specific dates on which certain neighbors had moved into their homes.
Yeah.
And he was doing all the content, which was when was this house built? Who moved in? How much was it sold for? Who was here? Who's been here this whole time?
Yeah.
They also had overlays marking sightlines to show which houses could see the porch with the easel on it and which ones couldn't. So he had bubbles around certain houses, this is their radius of what you can see.
Holy shit.
He also had circles drawing marking ranges of earshot. So when they where they were.
He's like, Maria, you go stand over there and I'm gonna stand on the porch right here and tell me if you can hear me talking right now, type of a thing.
Yeah. And and he was basically we spent our kids' names here. This is the radius that you would be able to hear that. This is the radius that you would be able to hear that. From our backyard to this barbecue. He had everything laid out. And basically all of this information, only a few homes fit the criteria of like who would be able to hear all this stuff and get all this information. At this point,
and the Lankfords.
Yeah, Lankfords definitely were in that radius, and Maria was like, "Okay, Derek, this is getting a little much. This is getting a little scary."
But also, like, it is scary. This is a crazy situation. You've received 2 letters directly talking, and like, one naming your daughter. I don't know. I don't know where that line is. Like I said, these are my hypothetical children that I'm thinking about. In this case, I am not a mother, but this is my like instinct.
You get protective, right?
You do.
So many of these articles that I read about this family, they paint the family in such a bad light. Like,
How?
they paint them as like, they're always just like, they didn't do this right. They're not protecting the kids
There's
in the right way.
There's no guidebook for this.
They blew this out of proportion. Like, there were so many articles that I read about this case where like the Broaduses were painted in such an unflattering light, where like it was all like their fault that this happened. And I got really like, it was so frustrating to read. I'm like, this is a family.
Yeah.
These are people, and they're alive, and they're living, and
what would you do if this happened to your family? Like, I want to see you do better, to be honest. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
what were they supposed to do? Move their family in and see what happens? Like, I personally, I think the Broaduses were doing everything right. Like, yes, the personal private investigation might be a little bit much, but like, they weren't getting help.
Yeah.
So like, what are you going to do? But you're going to protect yourself. You're going to protect what you care about. So yes, like sometimes they were very abrasive and they made like decisions that were like went against a lot of people. but they did it because they were trying to protect their family. So, like,
Yeah.
remember, there's always two sides to every story.
Yeah.
And because we didn't catch the watcher, we don't know the motivation. We have to, like, at least we have to, like, hear the Broaduses out. We have to hear their story. And you've got to not blame them for being stalked. Nobody asked to be stalked.
Like you said, no one like buys a house and goes, yeah, I hope something bad happens. Like what? It's such a crazy thing in any situation to blame the victim, especially this. Like, not even knowing the full context of it, of just like this happened to them. I don't know. It's
well, we'll see how bad it gets later. But yeah, it's a rough situation.
It sounds like they're being pushed to their limits, though. So I just
this family goes through it. So amongst all this personal investigation, a few weeks after the second letter, around July 18th, 2014, a similar white posted envelope arrives at the house. Once again, these are snippets that I found. I couldn't find the real order, but I put them together as best I could. Please bear with me. I'm sorry. Mr. and Mrs. Broadus, where have you gone to? 657 Boulevard is missing you. The house is crying from all the pain it is going through. You have changed it and made it so fancy. You are stealing its history. It cries for the past and what it used to be in the time when I roamed its halls. The 1960s were a good time for 657 Boulevard, when I ran from room to room, imagining the life with the rich occupants there. The house was full of life and young blood. Then it got old, and so did my father, but he kept watching until the day he died. And now I watch and wait for the day when the young blood will be mine again. 657 Boulevard is turning on me. It is coming after me. I don't understand why. What spell did you cast on it? It used to be my friend, and now it is my enemy. I am in charge of 657 Boulevard. It is not in charge of me. I will fend off its bad things and wait for it to become good again. It will not punish me. I will rise again. I will be patient and wait for this to pass and for you to bring the young blood back to me. 657 Boulevard needs young blood. It needs you. Come back. Let the young blood play again like I once did. Let the young blood sleep in 657 Boulevard. Stop changing it and let it alone.
this one's so much more unhinged.
It's so different, isn't it? It's a little shorter. It's a little sweeter, question mark?
It's desperate.
It's a slightly different, it's less angry, but it's like, it's desperate. It's a very different energy than the first two.
It's because they're taking ownership of the situation and they're not just like being victims and they're not taking it down and they're like, no, I can't control you and victimize you if you aren't letting me do it. Like, you need to come and be here.
But like, it's just like, once again, it's like it's fighting itself. It's like, I want you to be here, but also stop what you're doing.
Yeah. Can you just move in and be this idyllic like version of you in my head, please?
Yeah, it's like why aren't, it's like going to like a puppet show and being upset that the story in your head isn't the one that they perform. It's so strange.
It reminds me, like, because I play Sims, right? So like I sometimes I will build a house in Sims first. I love building, that's my favorite thing. And then once I build the house, I will make a family for it. It reminds me a lot of that like kind of mindset of like, they're not looking at this family as like real people. They're looking at this house as like a house that like, I don't, like you said, they have this weird ownership and connection to, and they want to fill it with like, in their mind, like the perfect occupants, almost like Sims. Like they're just like, I'm going to fill it with the perfect little dollhouse. And like, I don't, almost like some weird trauma. Like, it's like, I'm going to make the perfect little family. And like, I recreate my childhood, just like my childhood. And like, I don't, it just reads of desperation and hurt. And like, I don't know, maybe I'm psychoanalyzing this all wrong. I'm not, I have no bearing on that, but I just, to me it feels like there's just a weird sense of like hurt and like, I don't know. It really is that like that version of the family versus the real family. And it's like this person just wanted the family to move in and not touch anything and just like live paper lives. Yes.
And lo and behold, the Broaduses are like real people, and they're living, and they have wants and needs, and they change things, and they're living their life the way that they want to live their life. And this person is outraged that they dare like deviate from the script.
Yeah.
And it's like, I'm upset that you're deviating from the script, and it's like, what's the script, my guy? What is it? What?
I mean, and maybe because of like the time frame, like how long did the Woods live in this house?
24 years.
So that kind of lines up too with the time frame of like when this person says that they were watching it even before. So maybe in their minds when they started watching this house, when their dad died, the Woods were the idyllic fit. That's how they saw it. And then any change to the script was just like, why aren't you the Woods? The Woods did what they were supposed to, but that was just because it was their first time watching. I don't know. I'm trying to put myself in the shoes of like, what is this person?
Yeah. And it's like,
what is their reality?
So if like let's like we look back, like this watcher started watching the house sometime in the early 2000s, maybe like 2002-ish. The Woods had been there for a long time, and their kids had probably fully grown or like were leaving the nest at the time that the watcher like started watching them.
Yeah.
So like this watcher is only familiar with like couples would, and they're used to this mom and dad figure, but they have not had the kids. And
maybe they grew
maybe
up
like
with the kids, the Woods kids.
Maybe they grew up with the Woods kids, or like they were aware of the Woods kids.
I mean, it sounds like they've been in the house at some point, whether they lived there themselves or they were a child that was friends with children living there.
I think they talk about like being in the house like in the 60s. So like they were a kid in the 60s. And so if they're like only just starting to watch the house into the 2000s, they're at least 40 years old. Yeah,
again, it lines up with our Boo Radley character. Like it's very strange.
It's very strange, and it's this weird like this character is upset that the Broaduses are not the Woods, and they're upset that they're not this idyllic version of the Broaduses that don't exist.
Yeah,
it's purple carnations Broaduses versus red roses Broadus.
Yeah,
like they're red roses Broaduses the whole way through, but somebody has just convinced themselves that they're a purple carnation.
Yeah. Huh. Okay.
Yeah. All right, so let's look at the very few bits of information that we do have with all of this.
Yeah.
So we know that 657 is a nice home. It's an old home. It's a large home. It was considered one of the nicest homes in the neighborhood, and if you go on Zillow, you can see its size compared to the houses around it. So before any of the details of the Langfords came, before they even knew about the Langfords, when they got the first letter, the Broaduses initially suspected that the watcher might be of someone who had lost out on the sale of the home. So this was someone who was trying to buy the house, and the Broaduses outbid them, or they couldn't afford it at the time, or they thought they had a little bit more time, and then the Broaduses sale went through. It was a really quick turnover from the Woods trying to sell the house to the Broaduses buying the house.
Yeah, that was my first thought too, was someone scaring him out of the house. People have done a lot more for less.
Oh, 100%. Real estate in Westfield is considered very cutthroat. People in real estate in Westfield will even say, this is a really cutthroat industry. People have lost friendships. They have gone, no contact with people because of, a bidding war.
Damn.
So, the watcher in one of the letters, I think it was the first letter, even described the street. Boulevard used to be the street to live on. You made it if you lived on Boulevard. There's this fascination with just this idea of what this house used to be.
Yeah.
And there's this this upset factor that it's different. 2014 657 is different from 1960s 657.
But what a strange I guess duplicitous feeling to have of saying oh, you make it if you live on the street. I want to live on the street. It kind of sounds but also they're criticizing them for their greed. They've been criticized for that twice now.
Yep. The greed is a big factor. And it's never really explored. There's just, it's just you're greedy for taking this house, but also I'm glad you're here. You should move in. But also I hate what you're doing with the place. It's just this it's I hate you for taking this thing, but I want you here. I don't want to be in the house. I want to just live vicariously through you so I can make fun of you for enjoying the house.
It is such a, I don't know. There's so many different perspective and contradictory perspectives in each letter. And the last one is the most confusing.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So going back to the real estate thing, the Woods actually dismissed this claim outright. They said yes, they actually received several offers of the house, but one the offers actually just backed out of the deal before they could even address it due to a medical diagnosis. And another one removed their bid after finding a different home completely. So they were actually oh, here's an offer. Oh, actually, never mind. We found another house over here.
Oh.
So this was there was no real bidding war. So instead, the Woods actually suggested that with all the foot traffic and all the contractors and with the children, maybe instead the Broaduses had pissed somebody off in the neighborhood, and they were just trying to like get a scare out of them. They're like, oh, like maybe they just didn't like all the noise, and they didn't like all of the like the activity you were bringing in.
Yeah. Huh. That's a theory.
Yeah. So the details in the letter and information seem to indicate someone who had at least had an intimate view of 657. And of course, like they had the barbecue, and that big that made the Broaduses more aware of like the Langfords. So, you know, it's kind of leaning that way for sure.
Yeah.
Now, the letters were posted. So they weren't delivered by hand. This wasn't someone who, like, came to their house, put it in the mailbox themselves, and left. These letters went through the post.
Oh.
They were delivered by the U.S. Postal Service, and they had been processed in Kearney, which is the U.S. Postal Distribution Center in northern New Jersey.
Uh-huh.
So the first letter had been postmarked on June 4th, the day before the Broaduses moved in. Oh, sorry, not moved in, but like were in the house.
Okay.
And this was also before the sale had been made public. So
What?
like the Woods never put a for sale sign on the house. Like if you were just like walking by the house randomly, like a random passerby would never know that this house was for sale.
So this was inside neighborhood knowledge, like someone.
Yeah, somebody who knew the Woods. Like, I'm like, also I guess like, I don't know if you have that kind of neighborhood. I know I have this kind of neighborhood. Like houses in my neighborhood go on sale all the time, and there's no for sale signs outside these houses. But everybody knows when they go on sale because everyone's stuck in their houses on Zillow.
Huh.
There is like this intimate affair of knowledge where like everyone is very like you've been in my neighborhood. You know what the kind of neighborhood I live in. Like everyone is very like peaceful and jovial, and everyone is very nice to each other. But everyone knows when a house goes on sale in my neighborhood, but there's never a for sale sign. There's never any indication that it's for sale. A random passerby would never know that we have 3 houses available in my neighborhood for sale. The only way that you would know is if you go on Zillow, and you know. Like, it's possible that a random passerby could go on Zillow, but like at least if you were just like someone who was watching intimately, you wouldn't know.
You'd have to be involved.
There would be nothing on the surface. Yeah, you would have to have some level of understanding of like what's going on. You'd have to have like a very direct level of fascination.
Yeah, and that's interesting. That, like you said, kind of puts a new twist on it a little bit of knowing that.
Yeah. So, the renovations of the house were also mostly internal. So there was no outdoor work being done on the house. So contractors were going in, but nobody could other than like the really heavy sign that got ripped outside. That was the only thing outside. But everything else was like being done on the inside. So most neighbors who lived nearby said they didn't notice anything unusual. There was jackhammering at one point in the basement, and the neighbors couldn't hear it. So talk about a soundproof basement, am I right?
Yeah, I mean, that's, again, goes back to the letter, too, of, like, your children could scream in the basement and you wouldn't even hear it. How the fuck do you know that? How the fuck do you know that, though?
That is intimate knowledge. That is someone who has been in the house at some point and has figured that out.
Yeah. I don't like that. What is in the walls?
What is in the walls?
Okay.
So the Broaduses can't act against the Langford because there's really nothing tying them to the case other than ease of access and some bad mouthing by some neighbors. Like, there's nothing that's like, oh yeah, they for sure did it. There's like, well, we found a Langford handprint. We found like the blood smears leading to the crime scene. No, it was just like, here's a family that lives close to us, and they could have done this. Yeah. But there's nothing to say that they did.
Yeah.
Derek also has his massive conspiracy board, but that's not much to go on other than Derek looking a little cuckoo bananas.
Yeah.
So it's time to call them the big guns.
Okay.
So at this point, the Broaduses actually employ a private investigator who is not named. And he basically stakes out this whole neighborhood. He ran background checks on several of the neighbors, mostly the Langfords, and he didn't find anything noteworthy. Like, he literally didn't find anything out of the ordinary. There was nothing that was just like, oh, it's kind of weird that this family moved in the 60s, and then they had this guy that died 12 years ago.
Yeah.
There's not a lot that's said about it. Derek also reached out to a former FBI agent who, coincidentally, was one of the inspirations for Clarice Starling in Silence of the Lambs.
Oh.
I want to say that it's Jana Monroe, who was one of the inspirations. And she was a former FBI agent who worked with Jodie Foster for the role. But also this particular FBI agent is not named, so I can't say for certain.
Yeah.
All we know is that FBI agent and Derek were on the high school board of trustees together, and that's how they knew each other.
That's so interesting.
That's how he knew how to reach out to her.
Wow. He's like, hey, yeah, remember back in high school, and now you're doing that whole FBI thing? I got a case for you.
Oh, they were on active high school board of trustees. So they were like, it's like kind of like the school council.
Oh,
like
I misunderstood
the school.
I see.
Yeah. Yeah, they were both on it. So, I mean, it's Westfield. Maybe everyone knows each other.
Everyone knows each other.
So they also hired a man named Robert Lenahan, who was a former FBI agent, to conduct he was to conduct a threat assessment on the letters, on the house, basically anything he could that could potentially like come back to bite them.
Yeah.
Looking at the letters, Lenahan recognized several old-fashioned quirks in the wording that pointed to like an older writer rather than a kid. So this is less likely to be a prank and more likely to be someone who's a little bit older.
Yeah.
The envelope was addressed to M/M Broadus, which is the really old like shorthand of writing Mr. and Mrs. Which you don't really see when we're writing letters. We don't write M/M. We usually write Mr. and Mrs. or Dear Blank, or like it's a completely different way of like typefacing.
Yeah.
There were a lot of casual greetings in the letters that I omitted because I couldn't find the specific wording and I didn't want to put words in the watcher's mouth. But they would often like talk about like warm and humid weather or sunny and cool. Like it would directly direct the weather of like what it was like at the time. Every sentence was also broke up by a double space, which is something that older writers tend to do.
Interesting.
I've edited a lot of documents written by older people, and there are a lot of double spacing.
Is it because of that was a habit from typewriters, wasn't it?
I'm gonna say yes. It sounds very plausible. That sounds correct to me.
I think it was. I feel like my grandma, I remember her saying something about that, about the double spacing. And then when she learned how to type on a keyboard, it was a little different.
Yeah. We'll add that in the postmortem. We'll typewriting lessons.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's definitely something that I see editing older documents. I can see like double spacing. It's very common, especially when like you're done with a thought.
Yeah.
You do double spacing. Lenahan also believed that these letters were written by a voracious reader. And he was actually impressed with the lack of profanity given the level of anger that the letters seemed to give. So there was no swearing. There was no, there's no fuck, there's no shit, there's no, you're pissing me off, like, you terrible people, no slurs, nothing. It was just anger.
Yeah. And that's hard to convey, like you said, without using that strong language from someone that doesn't have the vocabulary to do so, or just the capacity to explain themselves in words like that.
Yeah. Lenahan actually attributed this to a writer who was, quote unquote, less macho.
Interesting.
So, I don't know if that means that like feminine rather than masculine, or if it's just someone who wasn't like trying to like seem intimidating, but like they succeeded in conveying anger without using profanity. So I always say like it's almost more threatening.
They never made any direct threats. They never specifically said like, I'm going to harm your children. No, it helps me to plan, to know what room they're in. Their screams cannot be heard from the basement. Like there's no, like you said, there's no direct threats. I'm not going to harm you. I'm not going to put my hands on you. It is just very like indirect passive aggressiveness, which like you said is definitely less macho, which is an interesting way to phrase that.
It's almost like it's not about the threats, it's the potential of a threat.
Yeah, I could
it's like
do these
because
things.
like it's implied that there is some malice.
Yeah.
But it's never explicitly stated, so you don't know what they're capable of. You don't know what their method of attack. It's like there's no like, I'm gonna strangle them, I'm gonna lure them into the woods, you'll never see them again.
Yeah.
Like there's nothing. It's simply like, I need to plan. And just the fact that they are planning and you don't know what that is probably like 10 times scarier than someone being like, I'm gonna strangle your kids and then and stab them with a pitchfork.
They say they want to call to them. What does that mean? Is this just like a religious nut that's just like, I wanna, push my views onto your kids? Is this someone that, like you said, is this some pedophile that's like, no, I want to actually lure your kids? Is this like, there's so many horrible places that your mind goes to, even as a non-parent, that I can't even imagine where Derek and Maria were at that like point. And then, yeah, like you said, having an investigator read over this and being like, yeah, this is someone that's just creepy.
Yeah.
That doesn't help.
Yeah, and that's pretty much like what this private investigator, like this is what Lenahan came to. He was like, overall he wasn't worried. He speculated that the Watcher was unlikely to act on these anonymous threats. He did acknowledge the generally angry tone that the letters had, but it was more drawn to like the letters were more addressed to like more vaguely like to the rich and like the greedy rather than to the Broaduses themselves. They were also kind of seemed to be referencing other people who were not Westfield born and raised. Like this wasn't like a family that has been here for 24 years. This is something new. It's an outsider. It's like it's a parasite.
Yeah.
And it also seemed to be referencing people who didn't appreciate keeping historic homes historic. So it's just sort of like it's almost like a general rant letter he was saying, rather than like, this is a threat on your family and your life. Lenehan did recommend looking into former housekeepers and their families, just in case it was an inside job.
No.
Yeah, because there was still speculation that the Broaduses had simply bought a house that this writer wanted but couldn't afford or couldn't access, and they felt cheated.
Yeah.
That was a very viable theory.
It is.
The Broaduses were pretty convinced at the root of it all, unfortunately, that it was indeed the Langfords. So, along with the Westfield police, the Broaduses sent a letter to the Langford house, basically announcing that they were planning on tearing down 657 Boulevard. They were like, we're going to destroy the house, and there's nothing you can do about it. Just to see, like, what it would do. And, like, see how they would react. And
the Langfords were like, okay.
They were like, okay.
Thank you for informing us. Like, are you telling us because of the noise? Like, we'll stay away from the house during the construction?
Okay, have fun.
Yeah.
We're storming the castle.
Great. Are you, what are you going to build a new house after? Like, why are you telling us about it? Like,
yeah. So, the Langfords had no knee-jerk reaction. There was like, what? You can't do that. It's a historical house. You're like, oh. It was like, okay, have fun.
Great.
So Detective Lugo brought Michael in for a second interview, and nothing really changed from the first one. So they let him go. They were basically just beating a dead horse at this point. Nothing was going on. Michael's sister, Abby Langford, actually accused the Broaduses and the Westfield police of harassing her family. She was like, why are you so, like, hellbent on us? Like, why are you coming after us? We have literally done nothing.
And to be fair, they haven't. Like, that up till this point, there is no valid evidence or anything. Like you said, they, unfortunately, are just kind of in that line of sight, like you said, where the evidence is just kind of vaguely pointing toward them. Mm-hmm. So, like you said, there's no better suspect, so I guess it's you. And that's a very shit position to be in.
It's a very shitty position to be in. So the Broaduses decide to hire a lawyer called Lee Levitt, and the trio met with the Langfords as well as the Langfords' attorney. Basically, like, they showed their hand. They're like, we know it's you. We know you're sending the letters. Here's our map. Here's our radius. Here's our plan. Here's our conspiracy theory. Here's everything that we have gathered over the last month. And we know it's you, definitively. And what are you going to do about it? They came to the Langfords and were like, we know it's Michael who's sending these letters, and you got to stop. And
that's so
needless
impressive.
to say, the meeting grew very tense.
Yeah.
The two parties went back and forth a whole lot. The Broaduses accusing and the Langfords defending. And not much really came from this other than, like, it just got heated and they both kind of showed their hands. Derek had a dream shortly after where he had confronted Michael's mother, Peggy, who was like the 90-year-old matriarch, and basically demanded that she build an 8-foot fence to stop her kids from peeking. Maria, on the other hand, was having very different dreams, where a man wearing thick boots and wielding a pitchfork called to the children and lured them over, and she couldn't get to the children in time.
That would be my nightmare too, Maria. I'd be right there with you. That's my kind of nightmare right there, unfortunately.
I have had nightmares of this variety. Yes, I have definitely dreamt of mysterious people in the bushes, like, and just not being able to get there in time.
Yeah.
Like, everything's like you're in slow motion and everyone else is running normally.
It's like you're running underwater and you just can't.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh God.
Yeah.
I feel it. I feel so bad. Like that is the point that they're at, is just frustration and defeat, but still having that fear and just unknown.
Yeah. It's a complete living nightmare, and it's one you can't wake up from. So Maria was less convinced that the Langfords were the cause, and she kind of genuinely believed that really anybody could be the Watcher. Like, she had not ruled out any suspects. She wasn't like, it has to be the radius of the earshot of the calling of the barbecue. It was more like, anybody in this neighborhood, anybody in Westfield could be the Watcher. She was having staring contests with the local recently opened Trader Joe's, just to see if, like, people were, like, looking at her kids. And she was like, she started like scoping people out, and she was like, could you like how close are you? Could you come and like grab my child? Do you know their name? Like, are you gonna try and call them over?
Yeah, I mean, that is how. If they weren't looking before, they're probably looking now, Maria. I'm gonna be honest.
Yeah, but it's just like, you're not getting a lot of sleep. You're driving yourself crazy. You just know that there is somebody out there who's trying to call to your children. Like, I can't say that I wouldn't be in the same state. I can't say that I wouldn't. I'm also just a very naturally untrusting person in general.
Oh, me too.
So I'm naturally always being like, what do you want from me? What are you trying to sell me, huh?
I get it.
So, like, I get it. Maria, I get it. Yeah. Maria, I get it.
At this point, I think I would be so paranoid. I think it was like a whole neighborhood-wide conspiracy. I'd be like, it is all the neighbors. They did not like us as a family. They're trying to just push us out because they want a different family here. Mm-hmm. That's where I'd be at.
Yeah. So, there is, at this point, reasonable cause to assume that it wasn't the Langfords. Michael had been interviewed several times, and also, like, right after the first letter was sent. So sending 2 more when you're already under suspicion is a wild thing to do.
Yeah.
There were also several other houses in the neighborhood that they were just as good at scoping out that area as the Langfords' house. Like, just because the Langfords had a convenient scapegoat, like, doesn't mean the other houses weren't just as good.
Yeah.
The first private investigator had actually found 2 child sex offenders living in that neighborhood.
Oh, okay. Any
Yep.
leads or follow-ups on that?
None that I can find.
Okay.
Just that there was now knowledge that there were 2 child sex offenders living in the neighborhood. The Broadus' house painter, Bill Woodward, had noticed that there was a couple that lived behind. So it was the house behind the Broadus' house, 657. And they actually kept a pair of lawn chairs on their, like in their property. You're really close to the Broadus' property. And in one interview, he said, "One day I was looking out the window and I saw this older guy sitting in one of the chairs. He wasn't facing his house. He was facing the Broadus'."
And I mean, that could be so innocent, but at the same time, in this situation that's so high tense, and you're looking for a reason for someone to be suspicious, you can't rule it out.
No, it's your case all over again, right? It's like, is the chef knife relevant? Is it not? Is the flowers relevant? Are they not? It's
1,000 weird things happen in Puerto Rico.
1,000 weird things happen in Puerto Rico, but it might be the chupacabra, but it also might just be 1,000 weird things in Puerto Rico.
It just might be.
Yeah, it's one of those, you can't rule it out, but you also can't assume.
Yeah.
So by the end of 2014, the investigation basically hit a dead end. The Watcher had left no fingerprints. They'd left no paper trail. There had been no follow-up letters after the third one. There was nobody to place at the scene of the crime, and the scene of the crime was basically any mailbox in northern New Jersey because it was going through the post. In December 2014, the police basically told the Broaduses that they had run out of options. Like, there's literally, like, nothing they could do.
I mean, understandably so.
That's actually not what they said. They said there's one thing left that you can do. So Derek was like, 100%, I understand. There is one more thing we can do. So Derek showed the 3 letters to his priest, who agreed to bless the home, just in case it was demons.
I mean, you never know. Just
you never know. I'm going to go out on a limb here and I say it probably wasn't demons on the count of me putting this under the stalkers and assassinations cases and not under haunted and abandoned. But no, once their house was blessed, they were kind of out of options for real.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that really is the last option.
Yeah, so they had sunk a lot of money into this house. It was $1.3 million, if you remember.
Yeah.
They had done a lot of contractor work. They had installed a new alarm system. They had repainted. They had redone their interior. The neighbors of Boulevard were basically like, "Hey, guys, it's been 6 months since you bought the house. Are you guys planning on moving in?"
Yeah.
And it actually started spreading in the rumor mill that the Broaduses were actually in the middle of a bitter divorce. And that's why they weren't moving in. They were not. They were not in the middle of a bitter divorce. They were just really fucking stressed out because, of course, the neighbors don't know, other than the Langfords, that the letters are a thing.
Yeah. I'm surprised the Langfords didn't talk about it more.
Well, also, the Langfords are kind of like recluses in their own right. Like, everyone's kind of talking bad about the Langfords. They're like the black sheep of the neighborhood. So, like, I think in a really sad way, it was like they were a safe bet to show because they knew that they weren't gossiping. Like, they weren't gossiping down at the tennis club with all the other country club goers.
Yeah.
They're just doing their own thing.
True.
At this point, the Broaduses had actually sold their original house, and they were living with Maria's parents now.
Wow.
Because they had sold their first house and they were not moving into 657 Boulevard.
Yeah.
They were still paying property tax on 657, and they were also still paying the mortgage. They were losing money. It was a bit of a money sink. Occasional alarms had gone off in the house, sometimes in the night, and Derek would go over armed with a knife, be like, "I'm coming for you. I'm coming for you, Watcher."
Yeah. God, I don't know.
6 months of this. And once again, they still hadn't told the public about the letters. They had been blaming their not moving in on legal issues. They had been just been very vague about the whole thing. Neighbors are asking, they're like, "Sorry, we're just not ready to move in yet." They're like, "Must be the divorce." Mm-hmm. Like, their friends are like, "Why are you living with Maria's parents when you own this beautiful house in Boulevard?" And they're just like, the stars are not in alignment right now. It's just like Mercury's in retrograde. We can't move in. Like, the stars are not aligned.
This muggy June weather. They just,
Or August, or September, or October.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah, 6 months later. You're right.
Mercury has been in retrograde for a long time in 2014. It's been going on for a long time. Now, Derek and Maria had been fighting, and they were actually taking medications at this point to help sleep and combat the nightmares, because it's a living nightmare, and it doesn't go away when they close their eyes.
Jesus.
Maria started going to therapy, where her therapist basically said she was suffering from PTSD, and it wouldn't heal until they had dealt with the house situation.
I mean, that makes sense. It's still an open, active wound. You have to, at that point, like, I don't know. I would find any way to just cut my loss and, like I said, move to another state, move to another country.
Yeah, and it's one of those where, like, at what point do you let go, right? It's like you bought this idyllic thing, like the dream is to be in Westfield. It's to have your kids grow up in Westfield. Like, kids have now started school at this point. Like, we're in December. They're like, Mom, Dad, why didn't we move into this house? And your parents don't have a good answer for you. They're just like, that's not the right time, honey. And like, literally, this went from dream to nightmare so quickly in the span of 3 days. And like, they've literally found, like, it's like finding your dream job and finding out that the dream job is, like, actually the complete opposite. Like, you can't do it.
Yeah.
And it sucks. Like, how long do you hold on to it? Like, how long do you just, like, you stiff upper lip and you suck it up and you try and deal with it? And at what point do you cut those losses? And then how do you cut those losses? What do you do?
And how do you even cope with that again? Because I know, like, he's like, oh yeah, you'll be fine once you cut, but, like, will you? Will this be an open wound forever? Because it's like, there's no closure to this. Like you were strong-armed out of your house. Like, that's basically what happened, was you actually let someone bully you out of your house, if that's the case. And I'm not saying that that's not the right thing to do, because at what point do you say, okay, I'm done being bullied, I'm done being harassed, I'm done being stalked?
Yeah.
That is valid to say, yes, I'm done with those things. Like, that's, I do not look at her or them as weak for wanting to be done with that situation. But also, how do you do that and move on? Because I think there's still a part of you that is like that's such an injustice. Like, that's so unfair.
It's 100%. And at that point, you're kind of like the Watcher won. He sent 3 letters, and we packed up and moved. And it's just that frustrating level of, like, where do you draw the line? How do you deal with this? What do you do? Because I don't know what the right answer is. I think the Broaduses were doing everything right. Like, they were being very cooperative with the police. They were looking. They were gathering information. They weren't throwing anything away. Every piece that came, like, into their fold, they kept. And they were just building this case themselves because the police couldn't help them.
And taking it a day at a time. I mean, they weren't making, like, crazy rash decisions. It sounds like you said, every single day that things happened or this escalated or things weren't done, they made rational decisions in the moment to further this and to try to find answers and to try to get that closure and to move on with their lives. And it wasn't happening. And it's only when you look back, like I said, in hindsight, and look back 6 months down the line and you go, yeah, maybe we should have sold the house. But even then, is that the right thing to do? Because you just don't know in the moment.
Yeah, you have no idea. And it's like this is also like they got 3 letters within the span of like 2 months.
Yeah.
And then they got nothing for 4. But in that 4 months, like, you're still waiting. Like, is this the day that the letter number 4 arrives? Yep. But it never does. But, like, do you let yourself relax? And then letter 4 comes, and then it's all shattered again. It's like it's like living it, like, constantly braced. You're never allowed to unbrace. It's tough. It's really, really tough. So, like my heart bleeds for this family and their situation. It's just, like, I don't know what I would do. I don't know what I would do in this situation, because I think I probably wouldn't move out after letter 3. But how long would I have let it go on for? I don't know.
Right? You're like, no, letter 5 for sure. That's when we move out. Like, like when do you actually make that decision? I don't know.
And there's been nothing physical other than, like, the sign being ripped out, but like nothing's happened. Like, no one's tried to break into the house. Like, no one's broken a window. Nobody's, like, actively tried to snatch the children. Nothing has happened. But then do you just wait for something to happen?
Exactly.
Like, yeah, it's...
You said the alarms at the house were going off.
Yeah, but nothing ever came of them. There was nothing there. It was just, like, the alarms got tripped. So Derek would go over and, like, just deactivate them and, like, wait around for a bit and then come home.
That's interesting.
Yeah, like, the cameras didn't find anything, or at least nothing that was released saying the cameras found anything.
Yeah. That makes me wonder.
We also do find at some point that there were squirrels on the roof, so, like, it might have been the squirrels.
Okay.
Might have been the squirrels. They were living in Jersey.
Well, what happened next? 6 months. We're 6 months down the line. No 4th letter has arrived yet. They're living with Maria's parents.
they ask themselves each and every day. Basically, my best part of my script is exactly what we're talking about. They ask themselves each and every day, like, if they like, what they gonna do if they moved out of 657? Could they? If they moved into 657, could they live with the risk that came with it? Would their kids be okay? Could they let the kids play outside? Like, did they have to constantly be over there? Could they have friends over?
Yeah.
Would the letters start up again? Like, they're like, it's just this constant of like, what could happen? Like, what is the quality of life that we get if we continue this way? And what are we missing out if we don't? So basically, February 2015, over 6 months after the first letter arrived, the Broaduses finally decided to sell the house.
Wow.
And that is where we are ending part 1.
Wow. Okay. Sorry, no outro. We're just jumping. I gotta know what happens, guys. Part 2. Part 2. Bye. See you in part 2. No.
Yeah, it's a creepy coopy, like just an overall terrible bad time. I don't.
I hate the creepy goopy time.
I hate the creepy coopy time. I don't know why I said that, but I did. And now that you've acknowledged it, I have to keep it in.
It's the creepy goopy time.
That's the law of editing.
God.
Dear.
Yeah. Well, this was a very unsettling part 1. I think.
Yeah.
You have deeply unsettled me. Thank you.
My pleasure. It's what I wanted to do. Ever since you creeped me out with your story last week, I felt like I could only return the favor with an actual stalker and assassination.
Yeah, this is interesting. I'm very, of course, I'm sure we all are interested to see where this is going and what the actual conclusion of this is, if there is one at all, because God damn it, they deserve one. They really do.
Yeah, it's such a harrowing situation, and I think we're going to talk about this a bit in part 2, where like stalking is kind of a new crime. Like, it's not like we don't have like stalker cases that go back very far, and there's not a lot of knowledge on how to deal with stalkers, because like you can't arrest someone for walking, you can't arrest someone for giving, like you can do it for harassing, but if like it's not technically harassment, and if it's anonymous, like what do you do? Like it's something that our judicial system.
You got it that winter. You got it that time for sure.
Got it that time. It's something that our I'm just talking about. That's something that our police forces are not equipped to deal with. It's something that we, like, it's not, I don't want to say it's not a common crime, because it is a common crime, but it's like, let's say like 6 out of 10 times nothing comes of it, but then the 4 out of 10 times something really bad comes of it. And, 9 times out of 10, what they're saying is like, well, we have to wait for them to do something before we can do something.
There has to be a crime. And like you said, walking, existing, looking, unfortunately, fortunately and unfortunately, are not crimes. Because it's like, where do we draw that line? Especially like you said, our justice system here is based off of like innocent until proven guilty. And so until an actual injustice has been committed, it is very difficult to pinpoint that. And we say this as women who understand this better than anyone. Like you said, that like women are more often than not the ones on the receiving end of this that get this mistreatment and are just completely, like you said, just their rights, their privacy, everything is violated, but to know, like, there's no solution.
Yeah. And like even the penalty for stalking, like if you do catch a stalker, it's not usually a long sentence. It's not like, oh, like you're going to be put away for 15 years. It's usually like, okay, here's 1 year of stop it.
And and we're going to tell you you can't be in 15 feet of that person.
Oh, great. But like, now you always know where that person is because you know you can't be in 15 feet of them. It's such a horrible way to live.
Yeah, it's a... And I say this, like I said, as someone who sees the flaws but doesn't know the answer.
Yeah, and like I don't know what the answer is. Like the more cases that we get of stalking, the better the response will be. Yeah. But it sucks that we're still in this this kind of crime is still in its infancy. We don't know what to do.
Yeah.
And especially, this is 2014. They definitely did not know what to do. Your case took place in the 90s. Did we even really tap on what the stalking was? Like, Ingrid didn't do anything about the letters or the flowers. It wasn't something that, like, other than it was being reported that it happened.
It didn't even seem like stalking, that word was in, like, the definition. It said that, like, that these men had, like, an infatuation with her. That married pharmacist guy, was just a guy that liked Ingrid. He was just obsessed with her, is what they said. It was not anything where he was stalking her, where he was like, it was never like put in a bad light. It was like, again, it was just, oh, this old man, he's really got a thing for young girls. And it's like, no, that's bad. Like, that's not okay. Like, that's fucked.
It's very fucked. And like, I guess most stalking cases, they're very modern. And because like stalking as a historical case, it wasn't stalking. At that point, it was courting. It was romantically pursuing. And there were like two answers, right? You either married somebody else, or you got murdered, or you married your stalker. Like that; those were like the three outcomes.
Because no didn't always really mean no.
No,
like we as women didn't have the right or authority to say no. So it wasn't really like you said. These things, these new social norms are pretty new. As weird as that is to say, like, in the grand scheme of human history, we've been living a longer time in the form of chaos than we have with these civilized rules of society, where it's not okay to fucking do this shit to people.
Yeah, well, like, look at, like, women couldn't have their own bank account until the 70s. That is a wild notion. Like, women couldn't have their own bank accounts until the 70s. We
can't even fathom that now. Like you said, like,
it's crazy. Like, no wonder Bonnie and Clyde were so suspicious when Bonnie was just in the bank by herself. It's like, she doesn't even have a bank account. She can't have
What is
one.
she doing here?
She doesn't even have any money.
Can you even read? Like, what are you doing here?
Oh my God, Bonnie, get out of here.
Who sent you to school? Like, what? Like,
where's your husband?
Literally
trying to access your husband's money without your husband's permission.
Where's the man that owns this woman? Please, can someone come get her out of the bank? She doesn't know what she's doing here. She's clearly lost, and she's meant to be in the grocery store. Like,
yeah, it's just it's wild to think that people pursuing somebody else, whatever their motive is, whether it's because they have an infatuation or they hate you or they want something from you, like, we still don't know how to deal with it. No. And we as a society need to give it. Of course, this case takes place in 2014. We've had 10 years to improve upon this. I think stalking laws, hopefully, are a little bit better now. But I'm not going to put money on that. I'm going to say that we probably still don't have a great idea of how stalking works and how to deal with it and what to do.
I know several influencers who literally talk about it. One, Brooke AB, I don't know if you know her, but she has a stalker. Like, she knows she has a stalker. She's very public. She's like, I have this person that has been stalking me for years. The police know about it, and there's just nothing they can do.
There's nothing. Because until something happens, they can't do anything. And then when something happens, it's too late.
Literally, like, they have to wait until this woman is murdered, assaulted, something, and then they can go, okay, great, now we can act. And it's just like, that's so shit. Like,
yeah,
that's just, the intent isn't enough. The intent and the threat of it is not enough.
It's like we have this conversation about like murder and and second degree murder all the time. It's like like an attempted murder. It's like, oh, an attempted murder is such a light sentence compared to murder, and it's just because either the person
you failed,
you got unlucky, or they got lucky, whichever way you want to spin it. You were an idiot. Like, you failed to take somebody's life, and it's only like, oh, sorry, it's only 15 years instead of to life. And you can be paroled, and you can just be out in the world. You can try again. It's okay, sweetie. Yeah, try again. Look at him next time.
Again, a flawed system, but I don't know the way forward in this, because I know there's smarter people than I that have set the system up and have really done their best to provide us with the fair. There's always going to be fair and unfair things in life, right? And I don't know. I don't know how to make this fair to everyone while still protecting people, but also providing freedoms to not be prosecuted for every little thing.
At least now, and I know this for certain, there are like hotlines you can call. There are stalker support networks that you can contact. I'll try and put them, as many as I can, in the description of this episode and the next episode. But there are ways that you can get help, not just from the police, but from people who have been where you are and who know how to help you deal with this, like the mental stress, the emotional stress. They'll put you in contact with like therapists who can help you work through this. They'll put you in contact with people who can actively like check in on you and make sure that you are okay. And it's not a great way to live. It's not at all the ideal way to live. And it sucks that we as humans feel compelled to do this sometimes, where we just feel like, I'm just going to follow that person. And I'm in love with them. And one day they'll love me. I know that they love purple carnations. And they don't. They're a red roses kind of person, my guy. And I just... Yeah. And I know things are getting better, but they're not great. So, like, especially, be looking out for each other, take care of each other, make sure that you're contacting the right people. We'll get into...
Especially women. Be there for your fellow girls. Like, come on.
Yeah.
If a girl says she needs you to be there, if there's a girl in public that comes up to you and starts pretending to know you, just go with it because it's for a reason.
Yeah, be a girl's girl. Take care of
Be a
each
girl's
other.
girl.
Be a girl's girl. Just love each other. Take care of each other. It's a scary world out there, but heck, we outnumber them, and we're a lot scarier when we're together.
It's true.
And so just, be safe out there. Make sure, like, if you're going through something similar to this, make sure you're contacting your hotlines. I'll try and put the numbers in the description of this episode. Yeah, and just stay safe. Be safe. Protect yourself. Carry a knife if you have to. It's okay. I carry a knife.
Yeah.
Carry a knife.
Whatever you can, whatever's legal in your area, whatever's safe for you, whatever you feel comfortable using to defend yourself, use whatever you can.
Stay safe, girls.
Stay
safe. Yeah. And just, if you guys have know any other, like, stalker cases where, like, something's helped, please, like, let us know. We'll raise the banner. We'll spread it to the masses. If this is working out for you, if this is something that you've proven that really, really helps, also keep your receipts. Always keep your receipts. Do what the Broaduses are doing. Save everything. Document everything. Try not to touch anything. Get your fingerprints. Get your stamp licks.
Yeah, that's
true. You never know what it will do. At least it will help identify the person. Because being anonymous is more powerful than being singled out. Once you take that anonymous, like, spirit away from them, they become much more cowardly.
It's true. Like you said, when you're able to unmask that monster and point a finger and shame the human behind it all, it definitely changes things and kind of evens the playing field, so to speak.
It does. Perfect. Well, we won't gab you off for any more for much longer. We've got another part 2 to get to, but
yes,
guys,
we do.
Stay safe. Thank you so much for listening to the Westfield Watcher Part 1. I hope you're enjoying it. Let us know if you've got the blood skeeves. And yeah, what would you do?
We'll see you in part 2.
What would you do?
What would you do?
I'm curious. Yeah, we'll see you in part 2 next week for more Watcher Mania. It feels like it's a wrestling thing now. Let's go to Watcher Mania. Let's go, everybody. Grab your watchers. Throw them off the ring.
In the meantime, though, where can they find us, lady?
They can find us on Instagram, and they can find us on YouTube at Spookery Podcast.
You guys can also send us any messages, any corrections, kind notes, whatever you want to send to us through our email, which is spookerypodcast@gmail.com.
You sure can. If you guys liked this episode and you've enjoyed the season so far, consider leaving us a 5-star review. Really helps us just get the word out there.
Heck yeah, it does. And more than anything, just thanks for listening.
Yeah, thanks for listening. Stay safe out there, kids. It's a wild world.
Heck yeah. All right. Until next time.
Stay spooky.
Stay spooky.
Stay spooky. Goodbye. Goodbye.
And the first few seconds of that are just Leonard squeaking.
Squeaker, 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 squeaker. This podcast is brought to you by Leonard Squeaking. He's going.
God, he's going.
He's just...
He'll stop. He'll calm down a little bit. He'll wear his jaw out.
It's all good. All right.
All right.